If you're a big fan of cars and have an extra $25,000 in the bank, then you found yourself in the right place. Because today, we've got you the list of the 10 extremely stylish cars that will give you the feeling of driving in style that you can buy under $25,000. Smash that like and subscribe button and let's begin. Starting with number 10, a Mini Cooper JCW GP. Okay, I know what you're thinking. A Mini? Like the toaster looking cars you see at Trader Joe's? But yes, well, this is that car's cousin or something. The Mini Cooper John Cooper Works GP was tuned for track duty, and the modifications make it an absolute hoot. The first generation GP, GP1, was supercharged and ran off a 1.6-liter 4-banger producing 215 horsepower. The GP2 went to turbocharging, but its power output remained the same, just doled out a bit differently. Both are gutted versions of the already sporty Mini Cooper S, where the rear seats have been scrapped in favor of a lightened curb weight, where the suspension has been stiffened and where that distinctive rear ring resides. This lightweight pocket rocket tips the scales at just 2,600 pounds and comes with a mere 215 horsepower, which just feels like so much more. At number 9 is the BMW E9X M3, but V8 muscle is an American thing, right? Well, think again. Hailing from across the pond, this is without a doubt one of the sweetest, most stylish V8 sports cars ever made. The E9X M3 is also one of the top generations for any enthusiast, and I can testify from personal experience that it's super versatile, so you could slam it, drift it, or track it. The E9X M3 has got it. Under the hood lies a naturally aspirated V8 of 4.0 liters, producing over 400 horsepower, and can rev up to 8,300 RPM. This engine won more awards than I did in high school, which isn't saying much if I'm being completely honest. But seriously, this car is a real masterpiece. After all, performance is not the only thing it gives. It's from BMW, the ultimate driving machine. It also gives supreme comfort. And number 8 is the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. While the M3 is perfect for the streets, what about something a bit rowdier? Well, come on in, the legendary Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. With more than 20 years of production, it was built as a homologation WRC fighter and an incredibly capable road car. There are various Evo models to tickle any fancy, get your blood pumping, or anything in between. This wasn't just some cheap all-wheel drive sedan in an attempt to join the party. It was a purpose-built rally machine that would be synonymous with all-wheel drive performance. Brian O'Connor drove one in the Fast and Furious, which should tell you something. Much like Porsche in their 911, Mitsubishi has spent generations refining and tuning the Evo. That brings the number of a car that gives a savage turbocharged 4-banger noises, a decent wallop for power, a manual transmission, and all-wheel drive tech more advanced than your average spaceship, right from the rally stages of WRC. And number 7 is the Subaru BRZ, the Scion FRS, and the Toyota 86. The spiritual successor to the fabled AE86 would be the Subaru BRZ, Scion FRS, and the Toyota 86, all basically sharing the same experience with minor tweaks between badges. It is an easy enough recipe that your boy could connect it. Light, WRD, manual, and boatloads of fun. With a 2.0-liter flat 4 providing about 200 horsepower and near-perfect weight distribution, it's sort of a monumental hit within the enthusiast community. When I first drove one, I couldn't believe how much fun that I was having. And the best part? You can pick up these for well under 20 grand. We found low mileage beauties for around 17K, and there are several others on the market for even less. Number 6, the Lexus ISF. First off, let's kick it off with a car that not many people would know very well. It's the Lexus ISF. Take what Lexus did to spice up their lineup of sedans by taking the IS and slamming a 5.0-liter V8 under the hood for 416 horsepower. Just take a listen to that growl. But that's not all. This baby, the ISF, gets suspension tuning that Lexus had perfected, sticky tires, and rear-wheel drive to handle big, smoky burnouts. This 8-speed paddle shift automatic transmission sends a hit of 60 miles per hour in a scorching 4.4 seconds, the same pace as an E92 M3. The ISF has that really cool element of stealth speed hidden under formal Lexus attire. It's reliable and solid, and the best part is that you can have one for less than 20 grand, like this $19,000 beauty we found. Number 5, the Nissan Skyline GTS. When you think about the 90s Skyline, your brain probably goes straight to the GTR. But because even the worst examples of an R32 GTR cost big bucks, we picked the next best thing, the Nissan Skyline GTS. This lower trim level uses the 212 horsepower RB25 inline 6, but more importantly is rear-wheel drive. Want a classic sports car layout? Well, the GTS is arguably a better car than a GTR for that. It can just be a drifter and rotate around corners easier and shred those rear tires at command. And there's a huge community of third-party parts manufacturers, so you can really get all the power and grip you ever wanted. In stock trim, the GTS is still awesome. A 200 plus horsepower rear drive stick shift sports car with ageless, sexy coupe styling. Oh, and you don't have to pay for a GTR either. We found this GTS Type M with larger wheels and brakes for only 16 grand. And number 4 is the Chevrolet Corvette C6. It's time to go old school with a red-blooded American classic, the C6 Corvette. Before the modern supercar, the automatic C8 Corvette came into being, there was the CS6, built the way God intended, front engine and rear-wheel drive. Looking Ferrari-like, its curb appeal was oodles, and it delivered way more than what customers had come to expect. It was lower and wider than the previous C5 and was powered by what many consider to be the best small block of all time, the LS. Even in its most basic form, it pushed out 400 horsepower, and from there, well, it went way up. It sounded like hell came to earth in the best way possible. So if you like cheap power, well, the C6 is, without a doubt, the king of the hill. We found a silver C6 for just around 17 grand. And number 3 is the BMW E46 M3. Breaking into our top 3, let's talk about a real sports car icon, the E46 M3. It's difficult naming another more widely known, more loved BMW. This car deserves every ounce of hype it gets. The legendary S54 inline 6 pumps out 330 high revving horsepower, giving an awesomely raspy engine note, but the real magic is only half in the engine. This M3 probably was the ultimate fanboy daily driver, with a blend of chassis balance, steering feel, and timeless Bavarian design. Manual transmission and coupe versions are the ones to have, though honestly, the SMG Auto and the convertible options were pretty awesome too. The examples aren't that cheap anymore these days, but it is still possible to find clean ones for next to nothing if you know where to look. We found this nice and clean silver manual coupe sold for $85, but take with that what you will. Number 2, Ford Mustang GT S197. Now let's go for some American muscle. Right here is the Ford Mustang GT S197 generation. The 2005-2014 generation of this Mustang revitalized the pony car with retro modern styling and performance. Under its hood, you have a 4.6-liter V8 on earlier models, making about 300 horsepower, while the 2011 and up models come with a more potent 5.0-liter Coyote V8, cranking out 412 horsepower. For most of its life, the Mustang GT has been renowned for its raw, visceral drive. It is not just about point and squirt. This S197 generation seriously ups the ante on handling and ride quality. Aftermarket support for this car is huge, so you can really make it your own in terms of how it rides and performs. Despite these performance credentials, the S197 Mustang GT is pretty darn cheap. You can find good condition examples easily for under 20 grand, which makes it one of the better bang for your bucks in the muscle car world. And topping our list at number 1 is the Mazda RX8. It is an automobile entirely about the love of driving. This wheel wonder with a rotary engine is just that unique, offering an experience unlike any other vehicle available today. Its 1.3-liter rotary, known as the Renesis, produces 232 horsepower in the high revving manual, which redlines at a screaming 9,000 RPM. It's sublime in handling, owing to its perfect 50-50 weight distribution, rear-wheel drive, and very responsive steering. One of the real strengths of the RX, though, is its practicality. Most sport cars are two-door affairs, but the RX8 has a four-door design, with the rear doors being rear hinge half doors for access to surprisingly spacious rear seats. That makes it one of the very few sports cars that can also turn into a daily driver when duty calls. Inside, the RX features a cockpit-oriented interior with sporty bucket seats, a large tachometer right in your face, and a really unique-looking steering wheel. The exterior is just as beautiful, with flowing lines and a very distinctive shape that sets it apart from everything else. Oh, and the best part? For a high-performance device, this RX8 is actually sort of affordable to maintain. So which of these cars would you like to buy? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're there, make sure to subscribe to the channel to never miss out on another video on your favorite cars. stick around for our next video, where we dive into 7 cheap sleeper cars you have to buy. You won't believe the power hidden under the hoods of these unassuming rides. We'll see you next time. Until then, drive safe, my friends.